Morning.
Hello, Max.
How are you? All right, how are you?
Good.
Okay, good afternoon. We will start with Ian.
Frank, hello, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Have you been in touch with Jose Mourinho at all?
It's a shock. We had a couple of messages, just to wish him well in his new role, as he's always done for me. So, now we had a couple of messages.
What does he bring to Tottenham, and why is it that he seems to be able to have an immediate impact wherever he goes?
Well, I think history and results speak for themselves. The trophies, titles that he's managed to win over his clubs that he's worked at are not things in sport like that. Are not shocks, are not surprises. They're because of hard work and what you put in, and he's done that consistently at the teams that he's been at. So that's what we measure him and measure us as managers by. The other thing with that is that wherever you go is a new beginning. So I don't think you can rely on that yourself, and I'm sure he won't be behind the scenes. But that's why people will hold up his record and expect big things from him.
With him back in the Premier League, does it make things tougher for everyone else? Does it make things tougher for you, for everybody else?
Well, it keeps him off Sky Sports for a while, which is one thing. But it's he's got a good team. They're a very good team. And at the start of the season, when you look at Spurs, they're a lot of people's favourites to be in the race to win the title. Now, I know they've had a difficult start, but I think when you look at what Pochettino has built over the last years, I've got huge respect for what he's done at that football club. And I think what Mourinho takes on is a group of very good players, even though they're in a slightly false position, I believe, at the moment, for whatever reason. So it will be tough because they have quality players, they have a quality manager, and they have all the structure there. They have a training ground, a stadium, and all those things. So, they're going to be a threat, without a doubt, Tottenham.
Do you think he puts them back in the race, back in the top four race?
Yeah, without a doubt, they're in the top four race. I think that was the story at the start of the season, and it will be the story now and at the end of the season because of the quality. When you look through their team, pound for pound, it's why they've been there in the last 3 or 4 years. It's why they reached the Champions League final. You look at their players throughout the squad in depth, the strength that they have. You look at the individual talent they have, particularly in forward areas. Off the top of your head, anyone with Harry Kane in their team and players like that are going to be a threat. So, I knew that before, and I know that now.
Surprise you that he went to Spurs, especially after what he said when he was Chelsea boss about not going to Spurs?
Well, that's only his decision, and you only make that decision as you go. And I think Jose Mourinho has managed a lot of football clubs over a long career, and sometimes that's what happens. So that's his decision, and whether fans judge you or not for it is not something that's out of your hands. It's something that you take those decisions and you'll see. But I think as a professional, you have to understand the right to work. But we do also have this sort of tribal instinct in this country where fans react to that. But that remains to be seen.
Last couple, Ian.
Well, given your association with Chelsea, then, could you ever see yourself at Tottenham?
I can firmly say no, and you can replay that again in 10 years or whatever you want. But no, it wouldn't happen. But I think things are different. As I say, Jose Mourinho works at a lot of football clubs, and we have to respect his right to work. On the other hand, I was here for 13 years as a player, have an absolutely deep feeling for the club. And I obviously went to Manchester City for a year at the end of my career, but Chelsea is certainly something very close to my heart. Hence why I'm so proud to manage this club. And hence why, unfortunately, I wouldn't manage Tottenham. And that's no disrespect to Tottenham. I've got a lot of friends that are Tottenham fans and Arsenal fans, etc. But sometimes there are feelings when you're in it that there are some things you wouldn't do. Not disrespectful to the club, but just because of what Chelsea's given me over my time here as a player, what it's given me now, it's something that's certainly not on my list.
Last one, Ian.
Manchester City, this weekend. If at the beginning of the season someone had said to you, you'll go there towards the end of November, you'll be a point ahead of them in the table, what would you say?
Thank you very much. I'll tell you that out of respect for Man City because of the levels that themselves and Liverpool have reached over the last 2 seasons. It's been incredible to watch. I watched it from the Championship seat last year. I watched it in the studio the year before, and I've got nothing but respect for both of them. So for us to be in that position is something that I'm pleased with. I actually want more as well. I look at ourselves predominantly and don't consider others around us and think, where might we have got more points? And there are times when we could have done. At the same time, it's nice to be up there and around it, and a great test head-to-head tomorrow to see where we're at. And it won't be the end story. You can go to Manchester City and lose. Anybody can. They're such a strong outfit. It's what Pep Guardiola has built, what the club have built over recent years. So I won't be making huge judgments on win or lose tomorrow, without a doubt, because our story is one that's 3 months or so in the making, in terms of me being here and in terms of some of the younger players in the transitional feel. Their story has been one of 4 years and more from before Guardiola of hard work, from top to bottom in the club, putting a team on the pitch that has real quality, and that's why they've been successful.
How do things stand with Christian Pulisic? He obviously didn't go with the US during the international break.
Yeah, he didn't go, and we had full-on communication with the States and their manager, with Greg, and their medical team, because I like to be really open and transparent with that, because I respect that they want their players and their top players, as he is. But he had a problem going into the last game against Palace, and he was struggling, and hence why he came off after his goal, and we had good communication. He missed the 2 games. He's started to train again this midweek, so he's in contention to play.
John?
Everybody back healthy and well and on time?
Yes, yeah, they are. Everyone's came back and healthy and well. Yes, pretty much. Callum Hudson-Odoi is probably the one that has a hamstring issue, which he picks up in the England game. So he will struggle to be in contention for this game, but we're hoping it's short term.
And where are you with Loftus-Cheek? Is there a date yet?
No. No.
Do you think Manchester City are a different proposition this season? They've lost 3 games already. Are they more vulnerable this season than they were last?
I don't think so. I think Premier League football, I think it's quite casual to sit there and say, they've lost 3 games and that means they're not as strong as last year. I still see them with the same strength and understand that they're what they have and what they can do to teams. I've seen some, I've been watching them a lot this international break. There's an overload of watching Manchester City and Raheem Sterling and De Bruyne and doing these fantastic things. And so I don't. Listen, they've had their injury problems. We know that. I think in defensive areas, but they're a great team. So they're as big a threat as I think they've always been in recent years.
Just talking about the international break, how do you find it when you're knocking around here and not too many people about, probably watching videos?
Well, it's different and it can feel quite long. I gave quite a big break for a lot of the staff and the players who aren't with their international teams. There aren't that many, so they deserve the break themselves, because I think it's difficult keeping them here throughout just to train. So we get a balance of work and rest, and it's hopefully a nice little recharge for us all, because it is taxing, not just for myself, but for the staff, for the players themselves, and they need some family time. What we put in, some weeks go by without days off and a lot of hours and a lot of travel, so it's time to utilise a bit of time for them.
Will this game be a gauge of where you are to see how you compete against Manchester City?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, yes, in a way, because when you're up against a big team, and I think the big teams we've gone up against this year, Liverpool twice, we've gone pound for pound with them and lost, unfortunately, and to a degree. Were very tight matches. Manchester United in the first game, we put in a pretty good performance, but a harsh reality is we got beaten. And Manchester United again, we changed the team with about 5 or 6 changes. So all of those, what people would see as the so-called tougher games, I think we have performed pretty well without probably the result that we might have got. But at the same time, with tomorrow, I think it's, as I mentioned before, you can go to City and lose at your best. That's how good they are. So I won't judge us on the big picture just for that one game.
Moose.
Frank, I assume this is a lot more different for you than when you played against Chelsea for City, going back to City to manage.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's. I'm back here. I just mentioned about what I feel for this club. So to manage them is a proud honour. And in terms of going up against City, it's a club that I had a great time at for a year. From how the club, the structure of the club, the fans. I live central in Manchester. I've got on with the players. I really, really love my time there. So I go back there with nothing but good feelings and about my time there and what they've done since, because I look out for them a little bit. But I am Chelsea manager. Everyone understands what I want tomorrow. I want to take a team there to go and absolutely compete and try and win.
In terms of competing and winning, is the idea to go there and be on the front foot? I mean, is attack the best form of defence?
I think it's probably too simplistic to look at it that way, because there are times when you understand that City will put you under pressure. So there are times when you have to defend, whether you're defending in your own 18-yard box or whether you're defending up the pitch to try and keep them away from your goal. So we'll try and be a continuation of our recent form. And of course, playing against City, the level that they are, it makes it an even tougher test.
During the international break, first England goals for Tammy and for Mason. I mean, if they haven't scored, if they haven't been exceptional up till now. That's just the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant for them. I was so pleased to watch them play, watch them score, and again, that's a little continuation of their form. And I know from being that younger player with England that when you go away and something like that happens, it helps, it boosts your confidence, it gives them another sense of feeling at home at that level, at that stage as well, which for your all-round confidence is a great thing. So I was very pleased to see that.
And finally, Pochettino being sacked this week, I mean, most people would have thought that couldn't happen this season. There were a group of managers that couldn't be sacked, including yourself. So you're in an elite group of managers now. I think it's just you, Guardiola and Klopp, isn't it?
No, it's certainly not. It's certainly not. What I will say, while you ask about Pochettino, is that I've got huge respect for him. I've met him a couple of times. Once when I was on my coaching badges a couple of years ago and went to the Tottenham training ground, and the hospitality and the time that he gave me when he didn't really need to was something that was pretty special. And I watched from afar when he's taken that team and done incredible things with younger players, with the development of the team, and he moves on, and I wish him very well, because I think he's a very what's the word I'm looking for? He's a classy man in how he works and how he is. So wish him well in whatever his next challenge will be.
Okay, last two, and then we've got to finish Martin and then Carrie at the end.
Hi Frank, you've got Jorginho available again tomorrow, and you haven't had Jorginho and N'Golo Kante available very often in the league games. I think they played 3 league games for you so far. You know it was a big issue last season how Sarri used the two of them. I'm not expecting you to tell me how you're going to use them on Saturday, but how have you addressed the issue? Are you looking at things that you might change, or how do you see them as a pair or as a different kind of role as an ex-midfield man? You know all about it.
Yeah, I want it to be a positive issue for starters, because on top of that, you mentioned Kovacic, and I think many people in recent games would look at him as one of our outstanding performers, quite rightly, and obviously Mason Mount, and obviously we have Ross Barkley, we have Ruben coming back. But in the terms of people that are very fit and playing regularly at the moment, it's great for me, and I don't think it's something I think we've done pretty well this season as the season's gone on, is have a bit of rotation and fluidity in our game in midfield, and not pinning people down so they're stuck in certain positions. So I hope that can carry on, and I hope that can bring the best out of the abilities of all of the midfield players, because I think one big thing they have, all of them, is that they can all apply different roles of a midfield player. They can all be the deeper player, they can all be higher up the pitch, they've all got energy to get around the pitch. So I think we can use them all collectively. Yeah, but I don't think it's a case of I'm going to stick him in the number 10 position, but I think you have to give him the freedom to leave his areas if he plays as a deep midfield player, not just with the ball, which he can play some really nice passes. We saw against Watford what he did with his through ball for Tammy, but also without the ball, because he has a real perception and an energy to go and close down and start the press. So if I pin him down in front of our back four, you don't get those abilities, and I think he's been doing that really well.
Okay, last two can carry.
From Jose taking his attention off this match for you, obviously?
I don't mind. You know, I think it's been a good viewing for us all, and I think that having the Premier League, having people of such character and quality as Jose Mourinho is a great thing. You know, I think we all watched the press conference yesterday, waiting for the lines and for the personality, and I think that's a good thing. And now the interesting thing to see will be, you know, how his team does. So it's been I watched it with one eye, but the much more focus obviously here in what we're going to do about the big game that we have tomorrow.
Pochettino very much had the plan of following Sir Alex Ferguson in a 4-year cycle. Jose Mourinho said, really nowadays, since the Bosman ruling and because of us media, that's simply impossible. Do you still have a romantic notion though that you could be a legend here and buck that trend?
Well, maybe a romantic notion is one thing, but I think the real notion is that you should only look in the very, very near future, because as we sort of alluded to earlier there, that you are always results or performances away from a difficult patch or a good patch. At the minute, everyone's keep talking about how well we're doing. I don't like that. I get nervous. I want to play that down, and I want us to keep doing well. So I'm certainly not one that looks further ahead than the next game, the next little period of games, and what will be after that.